speaker today is Dr. Abul Sharah. Dr. Sharah is no stranger to Bloomington Rotary. He's been a member of our club for almost 15 years, having joined in 2002. Dr. Sharah grew up as a fatherless, impoverished boy in one of the poorest regions in northern India. Through good fortune, I don't know, you must have put this one, brains, and hard work, he helped me out with this. And hard work, he received an undergraduate. He knows I'm kidding, because after I read this, you'll know. He received his undergraduate degree in India. He earned a master's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Tokyo, Japan, and then subsequently earned his doctorate in engineering physics from Carleton University in Canada. That's no dummy. He immigrated to the U.S. in 1972, where he rose to senior engineering and marketing positions at Honeywell and MTS Systems over what was a 27-year corporate career. In 1996, Dr. Sharah harbored a growing desire to give back in appreciation for all the good fortune he had received to date. That burning desire kind of coupled with an opportunity he had to meet Mother Teresa. During a business trip to Calcutta, he met with her, and it was all he really needed to commence his pursuit of mission and love in human service. He retired from corporate life shortly after, early for most people's standings, and he returned to the poor villages near where he grew up, and in 1999 founded In-ternational Village Clinic. It started out really as just a pilot project and has grown to be a comprehensive medical clinic, nutrition, vaccination, and health education program that employs a growing staff of qualified medical personnel, services hundreds of thousands of people in what is now a number of villages around the surrounding area. Dr. Sharah is investing the rest of his life to give kids a brighter future with the planning and analytical skills that he learned in the industry. Today we'll be providing our club kind of an update, a yearly update that he usually gives us on what new and exciting things have happened at In-ternational Village Clinic. Please help me welcome Dr. Abul Sharah.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. Thank you for your generous introduction, Dave. And it was not just generous, but he warned me ahead of time when I walked in here that he'll be telling a couple of lies. And I said, add some more. So you make your decision which of those were lies, which were the truths. Yes, I've been here for almost 15 years, and almost every year I have given you an update on what is going on in these villages of India where we started work in 2002. And I have to, from the bottom of my heart, I have to thank you because you were the first supporters starting in 2002, and Bloomington Rotary has given us a grant every single year. So thank you very much. And really this year is devoted to you, my presentation, with a theme that you are changing lives. And you will see with a few stories here how you are changing lives in these poor villages of India. I never started this presentation with the first slide that you will see today. It just happened over the weekend. So it could be a sunshine, or it could be a beginning of my presentation. I was at Mark's cabin, and we caught 4 fish. 2 are sitting there, one in my hands, one in Mark's. He had one of the biggest basses he caught, and I caught a 30-inch northern. So they inducted me in the 30-inch northern club in Ashby, Minnesota. So I'm not just a Rotarian, folks. I'm a confirmed fisherman. And believe me, I've been going there for the last 3 years. I have caught more fish in the last 3 years than all the 43 years that I lived here before that. And I tried all the time, never. I don't know why. Every time I go there, and you wouldn't believe, all these 4 we caught in 45 minutes, including 3 that got away from us. So it was a perfect weekend for me. Now to some more serious business. As I said, we are changing lives, and truly you are changing lives through me. This is for hopefully the newcomers. I have seen this slide to you several times before, but some of you who are new, and even some of those who are not, you don't try to memorize this every year. So here is where we are. This is one of the largest states, in fact, the largest state in India, Uttar Pradesh. This is where we are located at the eastern end, which is only about 150 miles from Patna, where Sandhya's project is. But believe me, these are highways, and it takes about 7 hours to get there for 150 miles. Anyhow, this is the largest state of India, and I have mentioned that before, but I'll ask you again. Here is a little quiz. Guess how many people live in that state? 130? Anyone else? Now I'll keep repeating it every year. This was a test too, how much you remember from last year, because I've talked about it every year. There are 210 million people living in this state. If it was a separate country, it would be the 5th largest country in the world. So that's the size of the state, and of course, you can easily imagine that the problems go hand in hand with the population. When you have that kind of a population, that's what you get. But that's where we are working. I can never do a presentation without using these 2 slides, because these episodes, you may call it, or incidents, or history, whatever you call me, for me, I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing today if I had not had that episode. That was my meeting with Mother Teresa in 1996 when I was on a business trip to Calcutta, India. That was the only time I have been to Calcutta. And how I met with her, that's another story which I won't go into, but I had half an hour with her, and I'm sure that that's made a big contribution in what I'm doing today. Another photograph that I like to show you that was instrumental in doing what I'm doing today is this picture. I founded In-ternational Village Clinic in 1999. I retired in, July, and I founded this in September. So right away after my retirement, I got involved in this. And I went to India for about 3 months just trying to explore and understand, because when I left these villages, I was 17 years old. I really didn't know what was going on, even though I was going to India among many other countries doing international business for Honeywell and then MTS. And I was going to India 3 to 4 times a year. But, you know, when you are on a business trip, you have 5 or 6 countries to visit. You get into Bombay or Delhi, wherever, you stay in a 5-star hotel, and 2 days later you leave. Well, India is not 5-star hotels, especially the villages of India, which is 80% of India. Bombay and Delhi and Bangalore are not India. I call it 2 Indias. Yes, that's 1 India, but the other is 80 to 85% who live in the villages. And so I wanted to really understand, should I even start it? Because what can I do? There are a billion people. What would I accomplish? What would I contribute? So it was more to convince myself and understand what was going on. And I met this doctor. He's a prominent surgeon in the city of Varanasi. We are about 30 miles, 40 miles from the city, our villages are. And he told me that he did a free clinic once a month in some remote village. And this day he was at one of the villages, so I accompanied him, asked him if I could go with him. I just was learning. I go there, it was a 3-hour clinic. He had 200 patients waiting for him, and you can very quickly calculate 3 hours as 180 minutes, 200 patients, less than a minute average. But that's nothing striking in India. That's the way it is. That's the way it is at our hospital too. The striking thing was that here comes a little girl with her parents, and with his instrument there, he looks at her eyes, and within 10, 15 seconds, he said, oh, to the parents, she will be blind for the rest of her life. Well, I thought maybe there is a problem in the eyes. A few more patients, another little kid comes about the same age, and in 15 seconds, he pronounces the same thing. Then I asked him, hey, why would they be blind? He said, oh, they have cataract. I said, my golly, I thought people get cataract at my age, not when they are 3 or 4. He said, no, they get cataract when they're born. They develop cataract right then from vitamin A deficiency. And it goes unnoticed because there is no healthcare system in these villages like we have here. After a baby is born, just checked, eyes, ears, everything, even though the baby can't talk. But there is no such system. So they don't notice. The parents can't notice until the child is 3 to 4 years old. When they see that the child can't see properly, they say, oh, there must be something wrong with their eyes. But then they don't bring to an eye doctor like him because it costs a lot of money. They wait till there is a free clinic or so. And in the meantime, in 3 to 4 years, they develop many other problems in their eyes. And he said it was just a little too late. Believe me, folks, that day I had the answer that I was looking for. I said to myself that if I could save 10 children like those from going blind in a year, I'll consider my mission accomplished. And I came back with full devotion to go back and start. And to cut the story short, we started in 2002. This is how we started. We got a mobile clinic built in India, and we purchased everything in India. Got the clinic built that goes from village to village. We still go to 3 more centers because now we have a hospital. And we also purchased a small ambulance. In these villages, now it's much better, but at that time, if you had a heart attack, someone had a heart attack, it takes half a day to get to the city of Varanasi. By then, it may be over. So that was the only ambulance service when we started this. Now the government has an ambulance program too. This is a piece of land that we purchased to do some construction. Cleaned up the land there, and fast forward, this is what it looked like 3 or 4 years later. That's our residential quarters for the staff, the hospital building. That's another shot of the same land, what you saw being cleared there. We don't have power there. We are lucky if we get 2 hours of power in 24 hours, and sometimes for a whole week there may be no power if there was a breakdown in the system. And I was surprised in the beginning when I started going there, I would ask them if the power was out, hey, when do you think the power will be back? And they would look up. I thought, I don't know what they're looking up for. After a while, then I really thought about it and said, they look toward God. They say only God knows when the power will be back. And that's true. It's still happening. I mean, 15 years later, we have the same story, a couple of hours of power. So we started installing solar systems. Yes, we started installing solar panels for the last 3-4 years, and Rotary gave us good grants to do that. Now we have power at night, which we never had. We only had kerosene lamps. Now we have power at night, and even during the day. During the day, there is a lot of sunshine. There is no shortage of sunshine there, but it's hot. In the months from April to September, we get 110, 115, even up to 120 degrees. We had installed fans, but what would the fans do if there is no power? Now with these solar panels, we can have fans during the day for the patients. They were really suffering now. This is no air conditioning, but it is like air conditioning. Everything is relative, you know, there if you have air going, air fans going, that's like air conditioning. We have 2 major programs there, a curative program where we do outpatient service. We go to 3 other centers and our hospital. Inpatient service, we have 2 wards, a 6-bed male ward, a 6-bed female ward. We have 24/7 emergency care now. We have ambulance service, of course, baby delivery, and many other things. Camps, many camps, we do eye camps and pediatric camps. But our biggest program is the prevention program. I knew that from the beginning. It's not only a problem in India. Prevention and preventative care is important for any developing country in the world, whether it's Africa, Asia, or South America, wherever. And I knew that's our biggest problem too. So we started with 1 village there. We have prenatal care for pregnant women. That's where we start. Prenatal care is totally unheard of there. Even in the cities, they don't understand prenatal care. We start from day 1 of the pregnancy of the woman, give her nutrition, which includes protein, multivitamins, calcium, folic acid, iron, everything that a pregnant woman needs. For the whole duration of her pregnancy, 9 months, she gets all the vaccinations that are required before that. After she has delivered, she still gets the same nutrition. When the baby starts eating 6 months to a year old, we switch that nutrition to the child and follow for 5 years. And it has made a huge difference in 15 years. It doesn't happen in a day or in a month or in a year, but if you can persevere, it does make change. Nutrition for them and for all children in those villages where we are serving, all children under 5 years of age. Vaccination for everyone, men, women, children. Health education every month. Our vans go to all these 60 villages where we are running this program today and do audiovisual programs for them. And then family planning, that had to be a must because the way the families there are, and it's making a difference, folks. When I went there, most of them had 5 to 10 children, and you know, how can you can't even feed 5 to 10 children properly, much less health care, education. How would you do that? So we started preaching our sermon from day 1 that, hey, smaller families. And I had to really go and speak to these women to say, hey, please try to have smaller families. Believe me, today after 15 years, some of them come to me and say, well, you know, how can I have more than 3 children? How can I educate them? How would I feed them? And my heart swells because that's what I was hoping will happen. And really, families are getting smaller in that area. So, and in family planning, we have field workers who go to visit women in the pregnancy or childbearing age. That means from 16, 17 years to 50, 55 years. One-on-one, they visit every month for half an hour to provide education, awareness, and empower them to make decisions. We say, hey, you should control your families. We won't tell you how. Here are the options, you know, pills, condoms, tubal ligation. You make the decision between you and your family, your husband. Whatever you need, we will provide free of cost, but we will not force it on you. So that's our major program. Now, every year, the other years, I showed you 50, 60 slides. This year, I'll do a little bit different. I'll just share with you a couple of stories from each area, the curative as well as the preventative. Under the curative program, this picture I took myself. It was a few years ago. This little girl came with her parents. She was extremely sick. And the parents, since we were small at that time, the parents said, hey, we went to the doctors, which is in these villages, they are quacks, they're not doctors. And for a couple of months they tried, couldn't work. Now they had given her 2 weeks to live. So the parents said, she has 2 weeks to live. Can you help? Our doctors checked and they found that she had tuberculosis. Tuberculosis in today's world is curable almost 100% if you diagnose it to start with and then work on it for 6 to 9 months. So anyhow, she was staying in our hospital. I left a week later after she came in. She was supposed to be there for maybe a month, whatever. I left to come back here. 6 months later, when I went back in October, a week later, here comes a little girl. She came to me and asked, do you recognize me, who I am? I said, no, I can't recognize you. She said, the girl who was dying, who was given 2 weeks to live before you left. Oh, I said, really? And if I show you what she looked like, you will understand why I couldn't recognize. Look at this picture here and the next one here. This is what she was, and by golly, again, my heart swelled that here we are really saving these little kids. And believe me, folks, this is not an isolated story. There are hundreds, thousands of stories like that. We get accident cases, lots of accidents, burn cases, because women try to commit suicide, basically kill themselves. They come 60, 70, 80% burnt in these villages. If we couldn't provide a quick service, I don't know what might happen with them. We are also doing cataract surgery for older folks. These are not children. These are, every year we do camps like this. These women came for their cataract surgeries, and after the surgery, they looked like Hollywood actors, or Bollywood actors, if not Hollywood. Now I'll again share with you a couple of stories on our preventative program. This woman, her name is Sunita Devi. She has 4 children. Before her first child was born, we were not working in her village. We started, as I said, with 1 village, then we went to 4 villages, then 8. Slowly we built up to 60 villages. We were not in her village. And there was no prevention program in her village. So her first baby that was born was this child who was retarded in every sense of the word. Body, brain, everything was retarded. That's how he was, never talked, sick. On our second baby, before that came, we had started a program in their village. And therefore, she had heard about it, and she came to us and said, hey, you see how my first baby, is there any hope for the second baby? And we said, well, what can we say? We can only pray, help you with nutrition and vaccination, all the rest of it. More than that, I can't say, but hopefully it should work. And then this is her home. Her second child, you can see, is fine. Third child is fine. The fourth, which was last 2 years ago, was fine. The older one, who is now 8 years, is still in bed there. So really, it's hard to prove, especially to them, because they don't understand preventative care. But you know, it couldn't be just by chance, in my opinion, that all the other kids will be just fine except the first one. So if you persevere and really stick with it, these things work. It won't be 100%. I'm sure there would be retarded babies now too, but we are solving these problems and we are really saving these children. This Sunita Devi, she came to meet with me 2 years ago, and this is what she said. I don't know what condition my last 3 children would be in today if there was no IVC program. And that's very true. And there are many, many, many more like that. Polio eradication, we have been involved from 2002, ever since we started. In 2000, this picture was taken in 2003, our nurse giving polio shot. And in 2002, when Diane Kirby and Bob Stoll, they both, she was the governor-elect that year, and Bob Stoll was the governor, DG. They visited them with other Rotarians. Don Stiles was also in there. And they all had the opportunity to give a polio shot to the babies. We still do it because even though polio has been eradicated from India, 2 or 3 years ago it was declared, but we keep doing because there is a good chance, I hope it doesn't happen, that it could transfer. Our neighboring countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, have polio. So we keep giving every newborn in the 60 villages that we are serving, we give them polio shots. Toilets for schools, that's another thing which is not directly prevention, but very much related to prevention. In these villages, most people go outdoors to relief for their necessities, which is fine. That's the way life is, culture is. But that's the center of diseases. It brings diseases which they don't understand. We try through our health education to teach them, hey, this is bad, but it's culture. How do you change culture so easily? So what happened was that after we started in 2002, I was hearing these stories, but I didn't know for sure. India has done a superb job in starting schools. Every village has a couple of schools, but they are business, really business. They build 4 walls if possible. They would build only 3 walls and a roof, no toilets. The kids go out in the field, and which is fine. For the male kids, it's fine till they go through high school. But what I found out and observed myself and did some research too, that the girls would stop dropping out when they reached the age of puberty, 12 years or so. That is 8th, 9th grade. Some of them would drop out. And so I said, hey, we have to do something. So 4 years ago, we got a grant from the Rotary and started building bathrooms for the schools. Now we have built bathrooms for 35 schools in that area. This is what they look like. One section for the girls, one section for the boys. The Rotary plank goes there. This is how the urinals look, and there is one toilet at the back on each end. When Diane and Bob were visiting and other Rotarians, they inaugurated this particular toilet at one of the schools. So that was monumental. Oh, I don't know how this picture came up. This is a picture of these 2 girls who came again to see me last year, Shalu and Usha, who were last year in 9th grade, and this is what they said. Shalu and Usha said they would not have continued their schooling without the bathrooms. When asked about their goals, I want to become an engineer, Shalu says, and I want to be a doctor, Usha says. So it goes a long way, folks. This is another thing we started 3-4 years ago. There are lots of handicapped people there, some from polio, others from other reasons, where they can't walk. And so we started giving them, distributing tricycles. This was last year. We gave about 30 cycles. And I'll show you a little video of one of them.
बस ठीक है.
You can see the Rotary flag on the back. Look at the face of that girl. She could not go. She's in college now. She came to tell us that, hey, I can't go to college because I can't walk. And this is what it is doing to these folks who otherwise wouldn't have a future. Hopefully she'll have a future someday. Okay, let's see. Her name is Chanda. She wrote a letter in Hindi, of course you can't read, but over on top you can see District Grant such and such, Minnesota. She wrote a letter saying how grateful she was that now she has the tricycle and she's able to go to her college. This is just a summary of where we were, where we started, and where we are today. In 2002, in our curative program, we had 15 villages and serving about 15,000 people. Today, we have more than 70 villages serving 35,000. In the prevention program, we have really gone 60-fold. We started with one village, about 4,000 people. Now we have 60 villages with 180,000 people, so we are serving a total of more than 200,000 people a year. We have staff of about 60, 2/3 of them are women. We have 4 doctors among them. All that you saw, the curative program, all the salaries, all the medicine, all nutrition, vaccination, we left a flyer on your tables. If you have time, you can take a look. All that is done for less than $150,000. Our good friend Jeff Williams, he put together this annual report this time, and very timely, Jeff. He brought it just today, so you can take a look at it. $150,000, you couldn't hire half a doctor here for $150,000. So dollar goes a long, long way, serving 250,000 people. We have applied for a new matching grant where we want to add 18 more villages, so hopefully it will become 78, and 18 more schools. Now we have 8 schools, kindergarten schools, where you have children under 5 years of age, because we give this nutrition to children. So we will add 18 schools and 18 villages to the program. And folks, believe me, I mean it. You are changing lives. You are helping changing lives. Now you are open to questions.
Abu, I think, first of all, we should be really proud, honored to have Abu for the work he is doing. And I have been thinking, I think maybe he's talking too much about the Nobel Prize winner, but at least I feel somehow between us, we got to nominate him for CNN Heroes kind of a position this year or next year, and I think it'll take some effort on our part. Now I have 2 questions, and also give you some comments, because you might know this or you may not even know this. Abu, your budget today, I see on the sheet, $193,000.
And that's what we raised last year.
193 and then 150, less than 150.
Yeah, expensive.
Yes. And you can answer that together, so let me ask both the questions. Sure. So the first question is, what was your budget in the year 2000? No, don't answer that yet.
Okay.
And second question is, we're so happy and so proud and so much indebted to your passion and your service of yourself. I always wonder, when you reach to that position, you got to have somebody as a trainee, the understudy, who will carry this on forever, rather than, because we can't live like 1,000 1,000 years. So I wish this can last for a long time. These are the two questions. But some of you may not know. I would like to remind you, in year 2000, when Abu approached me personally, we met, I think, in the Decathlon Club. And at that time when he said he is a doctorate, he worked for Honeywell, this is the passion he wants to get into, and he was approaching me to give him some donation. And I do remember that I gave him $2,500 at that time. That's why I asked him his budget in 2000 year 2000. Number two, I told him that in our Rotary, we have a foundation. And we do like these kind of projects. And I would like you to make a presentation to the Rotary Club. And that's where it was, and you see where it is. I think it's, of course, every one of you here is responsible, but at the same time, this is absolutely selfless person who could have a life here. He had a corporate job, he's well educated, but he considered giving his life to this cause. Back to you, Abu. Now give the answer
Yes,
to the question and reflect on the history I just said.
Certainly, and we still will have some time. If you have questions after I've answered, yes, I'll be happy to answer. These are really very good questions and very pertinent, and those two are related. I'm glad you asked, because that helps me explain some of the things which otherwise people may not ask. The budget, I think, I don't recall exactly how much it was in 2002, but I'll take a wild guess. It was probably about $20,000, because we were also doing construction. If it was not construction, it would have been much less.
Yeah, that was after you got introduced to Rotary. But before you got introduced to the Rotary, I think your budget was very, very meager.
Yeah, it was very meager. So that's the answer to the first, but the second is very important. When you saw 194,000 we raised last year, that was the first time we have raised more than $140,000, and there is a reason for it. And that reason will also answer your comment or question that, hey, what about after me? I ran a small business here too and worked for large companies too, like Honeywell, and learned a lot of things here that is helping me do this, even though they didn't teach me how to run a medical organization, but it all helped me. I learned many lessons, and one of them was, what after you? If you're especially a small business, you must have a succession plan. And I asked myself before anyone else could do, which in the Indian culture you never ask, is what if you drop dead tomorrow? I asked myself that question, and I had no answer for it. I said, if I drop dead tomorrow, this whole thing will drop dead tomorrow. And I have a couple of very good friends who I have known since I came to Minneapolis. They are big supporters. They have helped me a lot over all these years. And two of them asked me the same question, because they were Americans. Indians would never ask me that. They never talk about death. They said, Abul, what if you drop dead tomorrow? And I said, listen, I'll be honest with you. If I drop dead tomorrow, this whole thing will drop dead tomorrow. If you still want to take a risk and help me, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. You will never hear a word of complaint from me. But it was on my mind. Why was I asking? I had a dual problem, to find a succession plan here and a succession plan in India. Because, why here? Because we raise money. If there is no money, the program wouldn't run. Over there, you may have all the money in the world, but if you don't have an organization and a dedicated organization, it would fail. So I had 2 issues there. And I said, I'll keep working on it. It's, if you plot a graph on 0, the probability of survival was here, 0. But I thought, hey, I'm an engineer, I'm a systems engineer, so I know that the graph should move over, up, and up, and up. And I kept working on it. The good news is that in India, I have an organization. There are 2 people there, 3 people who have been with me from day 1. And I said, hey, I have to build these people to run it. They will not live forever either, but they will live maybe 40 years longer than me. And then hopefully their successors will come. So I developed them. However, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I went to my accountant, who is a chartered accountant, but he is not just an accountant, Mr. Praveen. I asked for his help on everything that I have. I never do anything in India without talking to him. I said to him, hey, I want to transfer my responsibilities to these 2 guys. I was the managing trustee. I said, I want to build them, make them managing trustee. I'll be off. He said, no, 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 how can you do that? No, you have to. I said, look, I'm going to die one of these days. I'm not planning on it, but the old man upstairs doesn't listen to my plan. He'll do whatever he has to do. So so he said, okay, he understood it. But he said, I'll not let you do one thing, not transfer. I said, what's that? That's signing the checks. Because even from here, every month when I was here for 6 months, I would be sending them 15 to 20 checks. That was in. He said, you won't let me do that. I said, look, there are 2 people who will be signing. I said, no, you don't know India. You still don't know India. I will not let you do that. So he didn't. Last year when I went there, I talked to him again and I said, Mr. Praveen, I want to make that transfer before I die, not after I die. And he understood. So I transferred just about everything. I advise them, I help them, I do everything when I'm there. But if I drop dead, they could carry on. I had problem here which couldn't get solved. We tried several times on our board meetings. We always talked about succession, but didn't happen. Therefore, I wanted to have a business in India. The money that we raised last year, 50,000 more, was because I wanted to build a school, which will help run this thing. That's why we got some more money that is in the bank, and if I can still do that, I will try to do that. In 4 or 5 years, I can build a business there that will support this. So that if after I die, yes, if they can raise money here, great. But if they can't, it will go on. That's what my plan is. Thank you very much.
And Abul, you'll stick around for some more questions if there are any?
Absolutely.
Well, as a small token of our appreciation, we've got an ink pen with our Rotary Club on it, and just want to say thanks again for your presentation today, and just hold tight for just 1 more minute, okay?
Sure.
A couple of things real quick, it'll take me 2 minutes. I just wanted to point out again, thanks to Alex White, our intern. She worked with Abul to get the slideshow ready to go today. It's kind of a new system. Thanks, Alex. Thank you. And I think this would be probably appropriate. Each week I've kind of started a tradition that we close the meeting with our Rotary theme. And who better than Abul to lead us this week, because I personally think that John Germ, when he thought of this theme for the year, had exactly what you're doing in mind. And so we couldn't be more appropriate than for you to join. You give us the Rotary theme and we'll join you in that.
Rotary serving humanity.
One more time all together.
Rotary serving humanity.
Thanks, Abul.
Thank you.